except with artists. I mean, a photographer was doing this competition, this big art prize, and he submitted AI images, and so synthetic images, which are AI photography, and he submitted it, and it won the top prize. And it won the top prize.
I heard about this.
He wanted to show that, people will see AI as just photography, and it's way more than a synthetic image from down to.
You're absolutely right. Michael Bass has just joined us. He, I'm sure, will have some interesting takes on this. Essentially, what we're talking about is, well, firstly, A of A is an art snob, a self-described art snob, and I think that's really great. And really, he's been in the NFT world about 2 years, and we're currently talking about how in modern society, artists have a little bit of fear of digital art in the NFT space, and it hasn't, exploded like we perhaps like it maybe should, because there are a lot of opportunities there.
Yeah, and also in the contemporary art world, specifically in the contemporary art world, they are definitely not bullish on NFTs at all, and not into it. And only the people that really only into it are really the smart ones, the smart dealers, and the smart artists, that are working toward. And because there are surprisingly artists you can found on Twitter, but it's hard to hear between artists. It's like they no longer live here anymore. It's like that movie. Art doesn't live on Twitter anymore. It's a totally different thing that's going on with the PFP projects and the generative projects. Leave it alone. It's the NFT art world is a art world unto itself. Leave it alone.
Michael Bass, what are your thoughts?
This is a long time away. Well, except that
Michael Bass, can you hear us? If you can, let us know. No. He's here all night. Don't you worry. He said he was getting some things together. I'm in agreement with you. Did you think that Twitter had more artists before the NFT space really got big on Twitter?
Fuck yes. I thought it was going to be like Damien Hirst and Cindy Sherman and all these people. Jeff Koons and all these people, Richard Serra, everyone coming over. And it's like, no, I see Raymond Pettibone. He has a Twitter space. He's a fucking awesome artist. Big star. And, but am I going to see other, serious artists from the art world, the contemporary art world? No. I saw Damien Hirst was there, Madonna for a little bit, at Super Rare, and then you have people who started the whole thing off, basically, because he is an artist, and his piece, 15 years, whatever it's called, really should have been worth more than $69 million, in my view. Thank you very much. My opinion.
Oh, no, that's definitely legitimate. What are your thoughts of
social transaction? It's constantly going on. So it's not whether it's the corner store across from where I live. As laundering the Chinese money, yes, they're doing that. It's everywhere. It's everything.
I'm in agreement with you on that, and especially when you get into these extremely high pieces, high priced pieces, it's very subjective. And whether something's worth $1 million or $1 billion, $1 million or $1 billion, it's just one person's opinion or a group of people's opinion, and perhaps that does give an opportunity for people that launder money. But I'm in agreement with you.
It's funny what you say, because that's actually not what I'm in agreement about. But I really like this discussion because it's either going to make us or break us. And the thing is that actually I don't think that art is subjective. I think taste is subjective. But I think there are people like me out there that actually know art, and I've studied it, and I've paid a lot for that education. And to belittle it and say that, no, I have the right to just judge if this is good or bad. No, you have the right to say whether you like it or not. So I am an art snob.
That's legitimate. What are your thoughts on this? phrase, everything in life is subjective except for that phrase. That's the only objective statement, is that everything is subjective.
I would say when we start looking at it philosophically, yes, because how else can we perceive something other than ourselves? Because we are not other people. So you're just taking up the discussion, you're taking it to a better level.
That's what I like to do. Essentially, yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. Man, you're smart, AOV. Yeah, I couldn't agree more with that. Essentially, just moves it up one level from art, not necessarily moving art, but maybe changes the genre a little bit from art to philosophy. Uh, if I may ask, if you were to have someone who is an artist who you'd like to see in the NFT space, who would that be?
Cindy Sherman. I would like to see Cindy Sherman. I would like to see Thomas Swift. Thomas Swift is my favorite photographer of all time. So I would have liked to, and Rabbi was still alive. He would like this space, you know. So
I thank you. What are your thoughts on this? So I think that AI will essentially create a more level playing field for people when it comes to all industries. But essentially, robots are going to replace really many physical jobs, and AI will replace many professional jobs generally. So then everyone will basically just have the gifts that they were God-given gifts, so to speak, that they have. At that point, those of us who can create, who are artists themselves, I feel will be in a very high demand, and live art will be very, and human-made art will be very, very valued in society, much more than it is currently. What are your thoughts on that?
I would say I agree with everything that you said, which was interesting because you were very meta, right? So, but I would probably agree with you. And it's funny because when you started talking, I was like, no, I'm against this, you know? And then you just have a much more libertarian, kind of like very pleasant way about things to look at the positive in life.
You're a sweetheart, AOV. Thank you so much. I really feel as if it will be a future for artists. And I'm really excited about that because, you know, for so many years, we've had starving artists, essentially people who can just barely scrape by, but they're very creative and they put their whole life and soul into their work. And when you have someone who does that and they're not rewarded for it, generally it leaves the common person with a bad taste in their mouth. But essentially, in the future, I really think that those people will be so much more highly valued, and it'll be an artistic society. And that's why I really do my best to motivate artists to continue to promote art and create art. I think a lot of people are afraid with perhaps like Midjourney and other types of art creation, like AI art creators, that they just feel like they can't compete anymore. And I try to keep people.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the same thing. I don't mean to cut you off.
You're fine.
But I would say the same thing that, you know, I'm really an advocate of digital art. I like digital art, but it's not like digital art is different to me than painting or, you know, how opera is different to sculpture. I mean, it's all to me the same thing, like all creative production. You know, so when I think of people being, when I think of AI, I think some people use it as a tool. I think we do a lot of people that never thought of themselves as artists at all, and to be able to go prompt and like this kind of futuristic kind of like sort of almost like angry kind of images that a lot of these AI programs the sinister kind of shoot out because they look like that. They're all like punk and stuff, you know, or caricatures and stuff. So, but I think it evolves to a lot of people like that. But then I also think it will be also in the hands of people that don't know really what they're doing, and it's going to be passed off as good art.
I'm in agreement with you. I think that, and you know, for someone who maybe not that artistic, I think that the digital art realm and AI generated art provides new opportunities for someone who is maybe perhaps learns about prompt engineering with it, and it allowed them to create any kind of art that maybe they had in the back of their head that they never ever would have been able to produce. And so you get new artists, and perhaps people who may say, look, I can't do this in real life or IRL, but I can do it using some type of computer technology, and they'll get some satisfaction out of it as well. And they may be you get what I'm saying, they may be so
that's a very positive way of looking at it. Because there's another way of looking at it, which I would just sort of say, oh man, I've been in this discussion for a long time. I would say I just want, people who use AI, hope AI gives you an opportunity to think. Because thinking is how you make art. Art making is about thinking. So if AI will allow people to think, then they're just going to be more creative than they ever thought they could be.
Absolutely. And now that they have new tools to be able to do it in such a wide array of tools, I'm very excited about it. What are your thoughts on like text prompting for video, which I think is the next version of this?
I was watching a video on YouTube about that. And it's like I saw a whole program from text to video. I think it's like, that story that I said about that photographer who submitted work to, big art photography prize and did it as a kind of a cheeky kind of moment, I mean, fuck you, we're going to start, the difference between AI and photography, real photography. See, what distinguishes this is that photography started with printmaking. If you look at the latest Richard Avedon exhibition at the Metropolitan, you're going to see that those prints are the biggest prints that I've ever printed on a photograph. And he was doing that stuff in the 70s. So it's going to be hard to impress me. An NFT project is hard to impress me. But there is some fucking amazing digital work out there.
I've got one for you. I don't know if you're aware of this, but I have the world's largest NFT. And it's like, well, what is that, Rabbi? I stream my life on YouTube all day, every day, and have for 2 years on 6 different streams. So it's like Big Brother or the Truman Show. So you can always watch me. It's one large time capsule going back to the pandemic. Essentially, we've seen the death of a queen, the birth of AI, and everything in between. And what I do is I go and I interview people about their art and NFTs and Twitter Spaces and allow them to promote and assess the NFT world. I know it's hard to impress you, but what do you think about that?
I think that you're, that you're just very generous. You want people to come together. You want connection. You want people to connect. Because that's the stuff of life.
You're absolutely right. I feel like currently there are very few platforms for people to have long discussions, particularly on video. It's really not an opportunity that many people have. And if it is happening, it's not recorded. And I feel like creating a time capsule or a snapshot of what the world is will be very important to people and future generations to see, wow, this is what life was like essentially when AI or at the birth of publicly known AI. Thank you so much for saying that I'm generous. I would say why I do it is for world peace. I don't want people to have war anymore, and I want to give people the opportunity to discuss world peace.
Yeah, but that's a very generous thing. That's what we're really looking up to, being a very loving person, a caring person to people and humanity. So, I mean, you're a rabbi. I would expect you to be kind of like this.
Excellent. I wish more of my compatriots were the same. So essentially what we have here is, more data than any person ever has put on the internet in global history. I have over 150,000 hours on YouTube alone. And when you have so much content, it's too much for one person to digest. But for someone as I, who am very excited for AI to help with this. So essentially, you'd be able to watch 24 hours of my day and it automatically be edited into 3 minutes and get a really nice snapshot of what occurred, and you can move on with your day, but you get all the highlights of that. And I think that AI can do that in other aspects of art as well. especially perhaps like old movies that aren't that interesting to some people, but they still want to get the plot, or they still want to have some kind of idea of what it was like, using just basically putting the movie through an AI generator or editor to be able to give you the best parts. But then it doesn't take a manual person to edit. I feel like manual editing times are really holding civilization back. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, that's so interesting. You're talking about manual editing, like films that were made on film or negatives, or
Yes.
digital editing?
Well, really, and the analog world, like older films that basically take.
Older films. I mean, what I love with those films is that they get remastered. You know, a lot of these very important films I was talking about, Golden Pond with Sylvester before I jumped on here, and you know, they're in their early 30s, maybe late 40s. And they didn't really know who Peter Fonda was and Jane Fonda was. And, you know, and they're going through sort of a confusing in their own relationship. And with parents, just I'll put it at that. And I just thought that that would be a really romantic and a hard movie to kind of watch together. I suggested that.
Certainly. And, you know, like even if, so you could make a suggestion like that, but the odds are that they're going to really watch it is you know, not that great, perhaps, if they weren't inspired by whatever you had to say.
People are not going to watch these old films. They already don't watch these old films. But editing and digital editing is something really, digital editing, you can't compare analog editing to digital editing now, because it's all done, you know, that used to be cut, film used to be actually cut and put together to make the edits. But if you're dealing with, because you were talking about how much is wasting so much time, and it could seem like that, especially in the digital world right now, because editing is done by, you know, everyone's making videos, you know, everyone's editing, everyone's an editor, everyone's videographer, you know, on TikTok, or, you know, on Instagram, so everyone is a little filmmaker right now.
You're right. The amount of time that it takes to properly edit that is to me, it's overcomplicated, especially when we have a lot of the edits that are more routinely done. I know there's some software out there like CapCut and some others that essentially make it a little bit easier.